This is an Algebra 1 Regent question from the August 2015 Regent. It is question number 24, multiple choice question. The question gives us a pretty messy expression. They want us to simplify it into a nicer looking trinomial. Let's first rewrite the question so we could go through it in order. So what should we do first? There are exponents, there's subtraction, there's multiplication. Generally, we want to go in the order of PEMDAS. The order of PEMDAS, you might remember, is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition, subtraction, just from left to right. So we're going to start with parentheses. Is there anything we could do within the parentheses? There's nothing we could do within x minus 2, and there's nothing we could do within x minus 1. The next thing we want to do are exponents. Now, a very common mistake that people make is they distribute the x squared over the square over the x and the square over the 2. That is wrong. You do not want to do that. So erase those arrows. What you're really saying is, when you have x minus 2 squared, what you're really saying is that this x minus 2 squared is x minus 2 times x minus 2. Why is that? Let's say you have x squared. What you're really saying is, you're multiplying x by x. When you have xy squared, you're multiplying xy by xy. So, when you have x minus 2 squared, what you're really saying is you have x minus 2 times x minus 2. So, let's rewrite the question like that. 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 2 minus 2 times x minus 1. Now we have no exponents, we're up to multiplication or division. We only have multiplication, so let's do multiplication. What multiplication do we have here? We have a 3 being multiplied by a binomial, then we have a 2 being multiplied by a binomial. So since the order doesn't matter in multiplication, we could either multiply the 3 times the x times the minus 2, and then multiply whatever we get for over here times the x and times the minus 2. Or we could first do FOIL and FOIL the x and the x and the 2's and the x and the x and the 2 and the 2, like that. Let's first do the FOIL. So here's the question. 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 2 minus 2 times x minus 1 equals. We're first going to do the FOIL. We're going to do the FOIL within the x minus 2 times x minus 2. So when we do FOIL, we're going to do first. So we have to make sure that we keep the 3 there. We don't want to forget about the 3. So now we have the first as x times x is x squared. Outer is x times minus 2, which is minus 2x. Inner is minus 2 times x, which is another minus 2x. And then last is minus 2 times minus 2, which is positive 4. So let's rewrite the whole rest of the equation so we don't forget about it. Minus 2 times x minus 1. Now we could combine like terms within the parentheses of the stuff that we just FOILed and see what we have. So let's rewrite that. 3 times x squared stays alone because we have no other like terms. But minus 2x and minus 2x, those we can combine. This becomes minus 4x plus 4. And then we have to still have what we had from before, minus 2 times x minus 1. Now what we need to do is we need to distribute the 3 over the x squared, the 3 over the 4x, and the 3 over the 4. And this 2 this minus 2 we have to distribute over the x and over the minus 1. So let's do that. We're going to write it back on the left side of the screen. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times negative 4x is negative 12x. 3 times 4 is 12. Minus 2 times x is negative 2x, and minus 2 times minus 1 is positive 2. Now we want to combine like terms. So 3x squared, we can't combine it with anything, so this just stays 3x squared. Next we have negative 12x and negative 2x. Those can combine to negative 14x. And the last thing we want to do is positive 12 and positive 2, which combine to 14. Now, which choice is this? This is answer choice number 4, which is the answer to the question. When you're working on long, messy expressions like the one in this question, you always want to make sure to go in the order of PEMDAS. so that you stay in a logical order and you don't get mixed up with what you're supposed to be doing first and second, and always combine like terms at the end.